here. I think it's officially fall. Yeah, late September. So late September, time for a gear list. So struggle I've been having this fall is watching everyone go out hunting, and I haven't been hunting yet, but all my hunts are late season mule deer hunts this year. So I have 3 mule deer tags coming up. Like I said, all late season. And so basically it's gonna run through what I'll be carrying on these late season mule deer hunts. And kind of as always, or as recently, I'm gonna start off by saying, this is just a gear that works well for me. I'm not saying at all you need these exact pieces. You need the same optics, you need the same weapon, same sleeping system. You don't need all that. I've killed deer with less, I've killed deer with more. This is literally just what works well for me. And my whole goal and purpose of these gear lists, because I think gear lists are very, very personal. You guys have all probably seen some of my gear lists, some of the Excel sheets I do, how in-depth I get when it comes to a gear list. And the only real reason I like doing a gear list to share with you all is to help you figure out holes in your kit or different things you can maybe think about that you haven't thought about before in terms of gear that you will then use. Yes, gear is very expensive, which is why I try not to change a lot of stuff myself. So a lot of stuff is the same, you'll see most years, but just remember, use what you have fun, be safe out there, and that's what a lot of this stuff's come down to, just me being safe, staying out, hunting how I like to hunt. So that's why my gear list is tailored to something that might be a little different or might seem odd or have a lot of, you know, very specialized pieces of gear. But just use what you got. If this helps you, I really hope it does, because, you know, sometimes you get some pieces of gear that will make your hunt more successful. It is truth. Like, there are certain pieces or ways you can run your kit or run your food stuff that will make you more successful and more comfortable hunt. And that's what I have nowadays, is choices on gear. So with that out of the way, let's dive into a bunch of just clothes that I wear on the hunt. These are clothes that I pack in my backpack and also clothes I wear daily. So start off, everyone probably already knows, one of my base layers I always have no matter what hunt it is. And even though this is a late season hunt, it's nice to not sweat a lot when I'm hiking. So I always run the Sitka Core lightweight hoodie. Just a very versatile piece. I love the hood on it, love the fit, love the thumb holes on the outside of it. Just really, you know, fits my kit really, really well. And then once I get cold, either I start slowing down, sit down, glass for a little bit, I will usually throw on a Sitka Core heavyweight hoodie. Again, it's a little bit heavier, but I feel this is a great piece that just, you know, adds that insulation when I need it. And I can still kind of hike in a little bit, but it's not one I would probably want to start off hiking in the morning, because I'm gonna start sweating right away. But it's always in my backpack, ready to go. Just need that extra insulation. So these two pieces, as you probably heard me say a lot, are my top favorites. Those two together, I can do a lot of different hunts with. You'll see me always having those two in my kit. All right, for pants. Since this is a late season hunt, I have 3 mule deer tags. It's gonna be cold. But one of my all-time favorite pants, well, it goes between the Sikka mountain pants or the Sikka Timberline pants. I'll probably have a pair of Sikka mountain pants in the truck in case conditions change if I go from one hunt to the other. But for right now, I am going to be using the Sikka Timberline pants. Reason being, they're a little bit insulated. That means I don't have to have extra pair of leggings and that sort of thing. So if you see this kit compared to my last year's kit, I got rid of the leggings I normally wear or bring with when it gets cold and just opted for a little more insulation down low. But that's why the Sikka Timberline pants are really great, because they add that insulation like I was saying. They have the built-in knee pads, a little bit of a, you know, abrasion, like DWR waterproofing on the backside, so you're sitting in snow, wet, that sort of thing. And I just feel like this, if you're gonna get 1 or 2 pairs of pants, probably get the mountain pant and then pick up the Timberlines if you have a late season hunt. These things are, I don't know, the Corvette of hunting pants to me. Whatever top car you like, these are them. Really love these pants. Boxers. Gotta talk about the boxers. So as probably I think Neville says in his gear list, we're dirty boys. I only bring 1 pair of boxers for an entire hunt. So let's say I have a 7, 8, 9 day hunt. I'm using these the entire time and it's totally fine. I'm hunting. I'm not trying to impress anyone. Yeah, if I have a camera guy with, we might stink, but we're stinking together and it doesn't really matter. I can still function with 1 pair. So sacks, these are the Quest. Really like these. one thing I'll suggest when it comes to boxers is probably go on a bunch of hikes with these in the summer. Figure out which ones you like. Figure out, is this pair going to make it hot down there, and you know what happens. Just figure out a pair of boxers you like, you use them, go on a bunch of hikes, work out at them. That way you know when you're hunting, it's going to be comfortable, not going to get any chafing, that sort of thing. So these have been really great this summer, and I use these on a spring bear hunt this last year, I do believe. Some of the years I wear the Sitka, you know, core boxers, but kind of switching to these this year because I've just been training in them, hiking in them all summer. So might as well keep that trend going. Rain gear. Rain gear is one of those things where you got to have it. So not to pick on anyone, but I had some friends go on a hunt recently, and they decided to take just rain tops and not rain pants. And it rained the whole entire time, and they were completely drenched. Had a miserable time for a while until it finally dried up. Well, that's hunting time you're losing. Yeah, you can sit by camp, sit underneath the tarp, but you have to go out. You're going to be in the elements eventually. It's going to rain on you. It's going to snow on you. It's the mountains. It's inevitable. It's going to have nasty weather. So I always pack rain gear. And since it's one of those things where you don't really use it that often, it always sits in the bottom of my backpack, or actually it should sit on the top of my backpack, so it's easy to grab. You just want a lightweight pair of rain gear. So I am not a big proponent on bringing the nastiest, you know, hard shell rain gear. I bring the lightest that I can, and this is the Sikka Dew Point, the jacket and the pants in pyrite. This is one of their updated versions from a couple years ago, so a little bit lighter than the old Dew Point. And I just feel like, again, you just have to have a quality set of rain gear because you never know when you need it. But that's the time, that buck of a lifetime, could be out in the open or right after that storm breaks and you're not there and you're soaked, and then you're drying all your stuff off later and not be able to hunt the next day because you got dry clothes. So bring rain gear, keep it handy with you. No matter what hunt it's on, I'm always gonna have it. Insulation layers. So we talked about insulation a little bit earlier about my pants, but this year I'm switching it up. Instead of wearing the Sitka Kelvin Light 3/4 down, I'm just going with the old school. These aren't even available anymore. The Sitka Kelvin down pants. These are just super warm. It's like you're wearing a sleeping bag when you're walking around. So you don't want to walk around too far with it, but for sitting down glassing, trying to find these bucks, because my style of hunting mule deer is getting up high, glassing, and glassing all day. So I want to be comfortable when I'm glassing. And then also, what I really like about having a bunch of different insulation pieces and carrying with me all day, if I get out there, let's say I don't kill a deer, I kill a deer and super late, I am totally comfortable camping overnight on the side of the mountain, just making a fire and not having to go back to my camp. That's why having this with me in the kit, some insulation pieces, and carrying them every single day adds that safety factor. Mountains are nasty, mountains are steep. Never know what you're gonna get into. It's gonna be really cold. You wanna throw these pieces on, stay warm. I could stay out there if need be and then come back to my camp the next day. So those have been insulation pants when I'm glassing. This year I switched it up a little bit too, and instead of carrying the Jetstream jacket, which is one of my also all-time favorite pieces, but on a backpack hunt, it's kind of a little overkill. It's a lot of weight. Yeah, it's great for blocking the wind, but it's heavy. And so I'm trying to switch things up a little bit this year, using some active insulation so I can hike around with this a little bit. Also really great for combining this with all these other layers I have and doubling up on insulation. So I have the Ambient Hoodie from Sitka. This is just, again, I always say they're great pieces of gear, but this is an awesome piece of gear just to have with you. It's super lightweight, and again, I can hike with it if I need to in the morning and just wear the lightweight hoodie in this and just rock it in any temperatures that's gonna arise. So I'm really excited about switching this up and then combining it, as always, with my Sitka Kelvin Light down hooded jacket here. This thing's just super warm, very, lightweight. It's one of those jackets that you don't really want to hike around with this in. If you're gonna hike around with your insulation, you're gonna sweat, first of all, and that's not a good thing. But also, this is not something that you can beat the brush with like a Jetstream jacket. So if it is really cold out and you are busting through brush, I highly recommend taking this off so you don't beat it up. Point being, I beat mine up on a spring bear hunt, cut a big hole in the side of it, had to patch it, but it still works. So these are insulation pieces, and I should jump over some insulation on my hands. So I always have, I got long extremities, tall, skinny guy, trying to fix that, trying to gain some weight, trying to gain some muscle, but my body burns calories all the time, so I'm always cold. So for gloves, again, probably know that all-time favorite gloves where I'm hiking. If I need to shoot with them, I could, but I prefer to always take my gloves off when I shoot. But just camp chores, setting up camp, glassing, that sort of thing, hiking around, like I already mentioned, the Sitka Gunner gloves are the bomb.com when it comes to gloves. These things are just, it's like wearing, leather ranch gloves, but with some added technology in it, and it does keep your hands a little bit warm. So those are really good. I'm just hiking around. If I'm gonna do glassing and it's gonna be raining or snowing, the Sikka Stormfront GTX gloves are a great option. They have a removable liner on the inside. Like I said, they do have a bunch of water repellency on the outside. They're nice and warm, but again, they're gloves, so they're not gonna be as warm as, say, a mitten, which is why I do carry the Sitka blizzard mitts. I don't carry the shell for the most part. I'm just carrying the inside insulation here. So glassing, it's really cold. I could throw these on for a little bit, glass still, and if it starts raining, snowing, that sort of thing, I can pop these on. And just, yeah, it's, I haven't quite found the perfect solution yet to not carry 3 sets of, gloves, but I think the combination of these 3 solves a lot of different conditions I face on a hunt, from if it's warm to all the way if it gets really cold and nasty. And I just want to be prepared because I'm going super deep in all my hunts, as most people know, and I'm not going back to my truck. So I have to be prepared, and that's why, again, this gear is really essential, just to be prepared. Socks, the old classic, darn tough, 212 merino full boot cushion. Not much else to say, but these are just my go-to classics. And usually when it comes to late season hunts, I'll start throwing in a liner sock. This looks like just a white cotton sock, but it's not. I'm not actually sure what sort of material this is, but it's just a sock. I will do a combination of both of these to add a little bit of warmth. And also sometimes it helps fill up my boot a little bit more because I do have long, skinny feet, especially in my heel area. So a lot of times boots will give me a little bit heel slip, no matter how broken in the boot is. And late season is just nice to, be able to pull these out, dry one. These will dry really fast as well. And just have options. If it gets warm, I can just use this, or I can just use this, I guess, if it's really warm. It's a combination of both of them. Boot, I hate that I have a brand new boot sitting here, but I actually forgot to bring my boot in this morning. So I just had to grab one off the shelf. But this is the exact boot I'll be running. This is the Hanwag Trapper Top, and I have the sheep feet custom orthotics on the inside of my boot. Just all around really good boot. It has like 200 grams roughly of insulation in it, so it's enough on those late season hunts where I won't get that cold sitting down glassing, but I'm hiking around and my feet are pretty toasty. And then Gators, big fan of Gators. I don't care what time of year it is. People can make fun of me all you want. I will get Gators all year round. Spring hunts, if in the summer I'm in the mountains, I'm usually wearing Gators too, dew in the morning, rain, that sort of thing. So the Peaks Stormcastle Gators, absolutely amazing. I beat the piss out of these. And as you can see here, there you can just keep going. And what I really like too is actually they're long enough for my lower leg that they actually get above my calf. A lot of the other Gators will stop right in the middle of my calf and then end up sliding down because my legs are so long. And so I have a lot of hard time fitting into some of the Gators. And you might not think fit is that important when it comes to Gator, but having a Gator that's tall enough, if you're a tall guy like me, is really gonna pay dividends because then you're not constantly pulling them up, trying to tighten them down to the point where you're losing your circulation in your legs. These will just stay up. And I like too how I can easily just slide it in, pull it out when I am, taking my boots off in the evening. So definitely get a pair of Gators. Like I said, I am probably anticipating a bunch of snow in these hunts, praying for snow, praying for some rain, want nasty weather to bring the bucks out. So again, that's why this clothing layer pretty much fits me on any sort of late season hunt. I'm not sure exactly what temperatures I'll be facing, but it'll be cold. Like, I guarantee you it'll be cold, and yeah, that's why you gotta have the right gear for the right job on a late season hunt. All right, quickly on the clothing side, I did forget to mention a few things. So I also have Fallraven Byron Hat, really great little insulation hat just to have when it's cold and I don't want to use my hoods. And one more thing too. So you'll see here I don't have my orange up here, but if you're going to a state that has some orange, I will be going to a state that requires full orange. So I'll have an orange vest. Usually that's either a Sikka ballistic vest, and then orange hat will be one of the GOHUNT, like baseball hats, as well as the orange beanie. So if you're going to a state that requires orange, make sure you have your orange well ahead of time so you're not caught buying a really bad piece of orange in some random town that weighs a ton of weight. You don't quite need that. So just make sure if you're going somewhere, read the regulations, understand where you need orange and where you don't wear orange. If you're really comfortable and you feel safer having orange, definitely just go for it. Some of the states that don't require orange on a rifle hunt, I will not wear orange on it, but topic for another discussion later. So, all right, sleep system. So this is another, I think it's probably more important to have considerations and think out your whole process around your sleep system when it comes to a later season hunt, especially the style of late season mule deer hunts that I do. But you can see here though, I don't really have a lot of stuff on the table for my sleep system. It's pretty cut and dry, I've just narrowed it down throughout the years and I really don't change it again. But speaking of that though, the only thing I really did change, I guess it's kind of a big item, because everyone knows I really, really enjoy Sikka Outside products. I use their, the Cimarron shelter every single year with the stove, and just looking to save a little bit of weight. Yes, it was expensive, and yes, I did buy said tent. Like my personal money, I bought this tent and upgraded, even though I had a Cimarron before. I just recently picked up Sikka Outside Cimarron Dyneema. It's gonna save me a lot of weight. Can't remember exactly what the weight saving is, but save me a big chunk of weight, and just really excited to try it out. And then with that same change, instead of using a medium or large stove like I've had before, I decided to upgrade and get the medium U-turn stove. So medium U-turn stove, still titanium, but it packs down super, super small, and just, again, save me some space in my backpack, and then just save me a little bit of weight. Every little bit of weight I can save, maybe a little bit of extra food I can carry, or just being, more able to hunt harder every single day. So these are the two big changes I did. And then I also went with a 7.5 foot pipe with Cimarron, because I really want, because it's Dyneema, I want to get the pipe up a little bit higher than the shelter so I don't have any embers or little small things of fire or whatever to land on this and to poke holes in my really expensive tent. So I want to be able to use this for a long time. So I'm really excited to try this out. I still have to open this up and seam seal it myself, and I still need to burn in these two items. I haven't had time yet to do it. So I need to do that before I leave. And also when I'm hunting, I'm not going to be taking this silly little plastic case for the stovepipe. I will just shove this thing in my backpack wherever I need to. Again, yes, counting ounces is great because you're just saving a little bit of weight here and there and whatever. People make fun of me for it, but I'm not going to carry stupid items that have no purpose in the backcountry. I'm just going to say that. Not going to carry items like that. So there's that, the new things I'm carrying. Back to all my old standards. I also have just a Tyvek ground sheet. Get a lot of questions all the time. Do I use a nest? Do I use a full enclosed thing in my Sikka Outside shelters? No, I will never do that. Summer, fall, even late hunts in the winter when I've camped on snow, I have never used a liner, nest, that sort of thing in my Sikka Outside. Just use the Tyvek ground sheet, try to melt all the snow if possible, try to kick all that snow out, and keep fires going to just get rid of all that stuff. And yeah, I just don't feel like I need to, again, carry something that doesn't really serve a purpose to me in the backcountry on a hunt. Hunting is hunting, and it's not supposed to be super comfortable. It's not supposed to be a 5-star hotel. This is hunting, and it's enjoyable to suffer a little bit when you're out there because it makes those memories that much better. So just use a Tyvek ground sheet. Be cautious of where you're pitching it, how you're pitching it. Try to avoid getting condensation in there by setting it up differently. But yeah, the shelters are awesome. Allows me to hunt harder every single day, being dry and being able to melt snow for water on those late season hunts. So that's really why I love having a Sikka Outside combo with a tent and a stove. Sleeping bag, haven't changed it in forever. Stone Glacier Chilkoot 15-degree bag. As a taller guy, I really love this bag. I'm probably at the max height for this bag. I think they recommend 6'4". I'm 6'5", but I'm a side sleeper, so it actually works really, really well. As you can see here, it's very lofty, if that's a word. Just adds a lot of warmth. And yeah, I probably could get by with something a little more minimum. I have before. I've used a lot of 30-degree bags in these late season hunts, but just get my body stronger, I guess, so I can carry some of the other things that are actually really nice to have. Because sometimes when you run these smaller stoves, they're going to, burn out the wood fairly frequently, and sometimes I might just sleep through the night and then not have to wake up and constantly keep stoking my fire. So it's just nice to be safe as well when we're in the late season hunts. Sleeping pad, this is one of those ones where, again, I'm trying to cut a little bit of weight and cut a little bit of comfort when I'm back there. This is just the Thermarest NeoAir Uberlight, and it's the size regular. So it's not actually sized for me at all. It's actually really short. So I think my legs hang off like 1.5 feet on the bottom side of it. But again, I can sleep anywhere, so I'm pretty fortunate about that. I get a good night's sleep no matter where I'm at. But I really like this, has good R value. It's still really nice for the late season, but it's also super lightweight. And even though it's lightweight, it still holds up. I've only had to replace one of these in the last 4 years, and I'm using it a lot. So I take that as a win. Compression sack, I'm a big fan of these Sil Nylon Ultralight compression sacks. I believe this is a size small. I'll use this for my Stone Glacier bag. And then I also have another one of these. After I'm seam sealing, I'm probably going to compress this down a little bit more With Dyneema, I don't really want to fold it up in a ball like I will with my normal Cimarron, so I'm gonna try to fold it all, but I'm still gonna try to compress this a little bit more. So I do have another compression sack somewhere around here. Stakes, got a ton of stakes. I'm a big promoter of staking out the outside of the shelter, but also using all the guy lines you have as well. Been a lot of nasty windstorms where I was, glad I had all my guy lines out. So there's also a bunch of guy lines in here that I've custom cut and added onto the shelter just to add extra stability if the winds come or it gets nasty. But these are probably the best stakes I've ever found. I've used shepherd hooks. You guys heard me talk about the carbon fiber, like basically looks like an arrow type stake before, but these made by Hyperlight Mountain Gear. There's their ultralight stakes. They're like aluminum, but they're super lightweight, and they just hold in the ground really well, and I can beat the crap out of them with any sort of rock, my boot, that sort of thing, and they just don't break. I've broken a shit ton of stakes. Not very fun when you break a stake when you're out there because you carry it out there and now you can't use it, you have to carry it back out. So I really like these stakes because they're strong and they're actually really tall, which helps when it's later season or you're just putting these in snow. You have to go through the ground might be not like hard yet, and they pull out easier if they're shorter. So I like a little bit longer stake on some of these like later season hunts just to have more grip. And just make sure ahead of time you count how many you need. Don't carry any more than you need, so pitch this at home, set all the guy lines out, figure out exactly how many stakes you need, that we're not wasting a bunch of extra weight in your backpack. And then just the carbon fiber pole for the Cimarron. So pretty dialed late season setup, but it works really well for me, so I like it a lot. Now for the fun side of things, optics. Optics are expensive, but they help you kill animals. So I'm carrying what I feel like is the ultimate optic for any sort of mule deer hunt. And I'm gonna carry it in the backcountry. Like, it's worth it to me to carry a heavy optic because it can help me find an animal, help me kill an animal. And it's not fun to carry, and I definitely regret sometimes carrying it, but I do carry the Swarovski 115 objective with the BTX. I just feel like this is the ultimate combo, trying to find deer at long distances, trying to really just pick apart deer, because I can always zoom in. Yes, it's fixed at 35 power, but I can zoom in a little bit on digiscope to actually judge an animal. But the biggest thing to me is I need to find a deer. I need to find it before I can kill it, and this just allows me to glass stupid long distances, and then I will just hike to wherever I need to go kill a deer, or just pick apart those basins when it is, middle of the day, bucks are bedded. Yeah, it's gonna be zoomed in really tight, but that's gonna help me pick out the shadows, pick out an antler time, pick out a slight movement of the deer, hoof, tail, whatever it might be. I will find that deer. Like I've said before too, if there's mule deer on the moon, I will find them because of this guy. It's heavy, but it's worth it. And then up on top here, I do have the MagView B1 digiscoping little adapter on there, so I can just slap my phone right onto it. And then, of course, with that, I do have to carry my iPhone 12 Pro Max with the MagView magnetic plate in the back. And I guess I could show you guys how that just clamps right on there if I was using it. It just clamps right on there. And I'm digiscoping. So it still works with the BTX. And just goes like that. Tripod. So if you guys saw the gear list I did, Spring Bear, I switched tripods this year, just something a little more stable, even though it's a little more stable, but it's actually not that much more weight than the other one I was carrying, the T004SK. So I just upgraded, not really an upgrade, just trying to try something new and see how I like it. But this is just a Siru ST124. Like I said, it doesn't weigh that much more than my other tripod I was using. I could still glass with the BTX on the other one, but this one just adds a little bit more stability because it is a little heavier. And then it just allows me to have a lot more customization if I need to stand up in glass on some hunt, but I never stand up in glass. But I just really like it. I've always loved Siru products, and I absolutely love the Siru VA5 head. That is the absolute bomb-proof head when you're glassing. And yes, it does hold a BTX 115. You hear a lot of people saying you need something super special, but I think it's just a marketing thing, and it's not actually, someone has actually hunted with it before, because I hunt the crap out of this setup, VA5 head, BTX 115, and it works. I can slightly glass with the BTX, I can lock it down. If it's windy, I can still glass with this and the BTX 115. You don't need anything else that's special or super heavy duty, especially when you're going on a backcountry hunt. That's kind of silly to me, to waste a bunch of weight in areas it's not going to really benefit you. But one thing I did recently switch on my VA5 head is I added this little ASIAC little carbon fiber rod for the Sierra VA5. We just started carrying those and going gear shop. I think basically, I can't remember what the exact weight saving it is, but this is 0.5 ounces, the handle. And I think the original handle is like 2.5 or 3 ounces. So sure, that's not a lot of weight savings, but you start shaving weight here or there, an ounce here, half ounce there, it's gonna add up to a decent amount of weight savings. So yeah, you don't have to be a crazy ounce counter, but over time, when you can add little things that help you save weight and add functionality to your kit, I'm all for it. And especially you don't have to do that all at once either, because yes, trying to save weight is going to cost you money. But that's what I want to do to try to carry heavy optics. I need to start trying to sacrificing in other small areas of my kit to continue to do what I do. So that's the carbon fiber handle on there on the 124. And then also the new addition. So I always run the marsupial enclosed large bino pack. I have a wind indicator on the side. Always have a spare battery. Usually it's in a little Ziploc bag, but it's just hanging out right there in the back. Always have a spare battery with you for a rangefinder. You're gonna need it. Thing I did switch though, also try to save some weight again, is, so these are the Vortex Razor UHD 12x50s. And instead of taking the Vortex Pro Bino adapter, I switched over to the ASIAC Bino clamp. It basically just clamps on the bell of the binos. It has an Arca Swiss design already built into it. So basically I can just put this bad boy right on here, like so, and then clamp this down, and I'm digiscoping, just that easy. It's gonna be off-center on the side, but it's actually not that bad. You'll get used to it, and it just literally saves, again, I think 3.5, 4 ounces maybe, or the other Vortex one I was using before. So that's just again, handle and this, just saving a little bit extra weight. I can carry whatever, more food, that sort of thing. Gonna try that out. I'm gonna definitely take apart the Pro adapter again, just to save whatever that tiny minuscule ounces are. But love these binos. These binos help me find deer, and that's all I care about. They're little workhorses in the mountain. Really love them. And then rangefinder, I did switch this year to the SIG 8K. Absolutely love this guy. This guy allows me to do all my ballistics data, gather all my real-time, weather conditions, pumps it all into my solution, gives me an accurate dope when I want to shoot my rifle. And it's one of those tools that, yeah, it's kind of expensive to buy, but once you buy it, start figuring out how to use it, enter in all your stuff, it actually just aim at something, range it, click it, shoot it. So I really, really love SIG and their rangefinder, so I always use that guy. And I'm a big proponent too of not having a rangefinder binos. Just my thing. I'd rather have a separate rangefinder. But again, discussion for another day. That's optics. Expensive area, but again, this is very specialized for what I do, and you don't definitely need exactly my setup. You can get by a lot less, you can get by a lot more. But it's just what I have, kind of toned it down, just 2 optic setup, and it works well. Time for probably my favorite section of the gear list, my rifle. My rifle's everything to me, and once again, it's one of those things that you definitely don't need what I have here to be successful, but for me it works really well, and I'll explain why. It is a heavy rifle by most people's standards. For full disclosure, this rifle right here, everything on it right now, 14 pounds, 5.2 ounces. Why would I carry that in the backcountry? Well, I want to be able to lay down and take a one-shot kill at a deer. That's the whole goal. Weapon is to kill, and that's the sole purpose. So if it's heavy and it serves me well, I'm going to use it. If it was a lightweight gun and still shot well, sure, I could still use that too, but this just gives me extra confidence when I lay behind this gun, dial what I need to do, no matter if it's a close shot, medium shot, whatever it may be, I know that mule deer is going to get hit exactly where I need to do it, and I'll do that animal justice and not have to, wound or lose that animal or whatever it may be. So this just works for me. Heavy rifle. It's a Browning X-Bolt long range 300 rum. Just kind of set it up this last spring, took it bear hunting, killed a black bear with it, and I'm going to continue hunting mule deer with it throughout the whole season. It's got a Vortex Razor HD Gen 2, 4.5 to 27 by 56 scope. Got the big lens shade on there, got the caps on both sides, flatline ops, Patriot Plus level right here. As you can see here, let's turn around. I actually have another level on the side. I just want as many levels as I need to make sure my gun is perfect level. Maybe something happened to that one, something happened to this one. At least have a level to take a shot that I know will go where I want to put it. I have Vortex Precision match rings. These are the low .92s, I believe. 20 MOA tally pick rail. Short action precision 2-round ammo holder. MDT Sky Pod. This is their standard pull. Got Snowy Mountain snowflake brake. It's a 30 cal 3-port. And Macmillan A35 adjustable stock. And then on the bottom here, I do have a big rail that basically, I'll take this off. You can see here in the front, it has just normal Picatinny, and then it goes into Arca Swiss. That way I can shoot off a tripod if needed as well, but then still works for my Picatinny part on the top here. And I'm actually thinking about not using a rifle sling this year. I was just talking to Cody when we were walking over after filming weighing this gun, and I realized I never use a sling. So I always have a sling on here, but if I'm not actively using my gun, it's either on the ground next to me or it's on my backpack when I'm hiking around. So I don't think I'm using a sling at all. I believe that's everything on the gun. Rounds this year, working up some loads as we speak. This is just a 300 rum ADG brass. I have Barnes 208 LRX boat tail bullet, H1000 powder, Federal Match 215 Magnum primers. And yeah, it's sending very accurate rounds right now. Really excited for upcoming deer hunts. But that's that. Got the GOHUNT ammo wallet. Got the Blaze Orange, holds 10 rounds. Again, pretty sweet. We designed this. We sell it in the Go and Gear shop. Holds 10 rounds. Has a little sleeve here in the top to hold an extra spare dope chart, wherever you might want to put licenses, wherever you need up top. And you can hold it multiple ways on your backpack, on a belt. I throw it in the top of my backpack, and then when I get close to taking a shot, I'll move this into my side pocket and then lay this out and open this up next to me. And I know you're gonna get the question about it is, am I still single feeding all my rounds in this? Yes, I'm still single feeded. I load these bad boys out super long, so I have to single feed. And it's not an issue to me. With a 2-round ammo holder, I'm able to take shots if I need to, very fast, back to back. But again, that's why I practice all the time, so I only need one shot when I'm out hunting. Got that out of the way. Rugged Ridge rear support. I've had this forever. It's the same one I've always had. I painted it orange a long time ago, so I won't lose it. Now they actually make orange version. But I just like this for the back of the rifle, be able to adjust everything, put this in here, adjust up and down as I see fit for taking a shot. And then GunSlicker. I'll use this in combination of also taping the muzzle brake. I don't want anything going down the barrel when I'm hunting, and it just adds an extra peace of mind, so I will tape it. I get a question all the time, can you shoot with the muzzle brake? Yes, you can. All that pressure, when your bullet's gonna go down the barrel, it's gonna blow that tape off before it hits the tape and you still have a shot. But if there is a chance, where I have time, and I know I'm laying there, and it's gonna be a little further shot, I will just rip it off anyway. The mental state, peace of mind thing, but if I have to lay down and shoot a 100-yard shot at a deer, I'll just shoot with the tape on. But then I also have the GOHUNT GunSlicker over top of everything. Ooh, probably should clean that up before I go hunting next. It's really dirty. Just to keep everything protected, keep the action all nice, make sure I don't get a bunch of snow, rain, that sort of thing, and through my scope system. And this helps. It's not gonna help padding anything, but it just helps, again, keep some of the stuff, the weather, nasties, debris, out of everything in my rifle. And then also, I do have this as a backup solution for my dope chart. It's Kestrel 5700 Elite. Super awesome. I can also do a bunch of wind judging when I'm out in the field. I always like to, test myself when I'm not actually hunting an animal. What's the wind doing here? What's the wind doing there? Measure it at my person and kind of just get better at wind judging, that sort of thing. But it'll pull on my atmospheric conditions as well when I need to plug everything in here to take a shot, as well as using my SIG rangefinder. So that's weapon system in a nutshell. Definitely gonna get questions on it. Probably ran over too fast, but you guys have questions on the rifle setup, maybe exact loads, whatever I did to it as well, just let me know. All right, we're gonna jump into some random, I don't know if I could really call it random because everything on here serves a purpose, but this is like gear, water filtration, dragon pulse type stuff, but just a lot of miscellaneous gear. We'll call it miscellaneous gear. We'll run through all this stuff and some of the reasons why I carry it. So we'll start with some water filtration. I think that's a good one to start with. My nasty, really nasty, been used forever, Platypus, Big Zip, 3-liter, just bladder. Kind of go back and forth on if these are actually beneficial on late season hunts because they freeze up all the time. I do have a little neoprene sleeve I sometimes will put over this to kind of insulate a little bit, and then also just try to blow back the water every time you take a sip so it doesn't freeze in the tube. Good little tech tip, otherwise the tube will freeze and you won't get any water. So it's kind of hard on some of these late season hunts to keep your water not freezing. So that's why it is nice to have an Nalgene or something else. I go back and forth if carrying a Nalgene is actually worth it. The only reason I really like carrying Nalgene right now is because one of my backup filtration methods is the Steripen Ultralight water purifier. I've used drops for a long time. Drops are awesome, no taste, but sometimes they're just slow. And this is just really easy. Drop it in there, spin that little lightsaber around for however long it takes, 90 seconds, and I got purified water, which is really easy on a Nalgene. A lot of times, if I'm stopping at a gas station on my way up, I'll pick up one of those little ultralight, or they're not called ultralight, but a little water bottle that looks to me like it's ultralight, and then carry that instead of a Nalgene. But sometimes it's really hard to actually stick this in and filter it unless it's a wide top, like a Gatorade bottle, one of those smart bottles that's a little bit bigger. But Nalgene is really useful for just scooping, and then also when I'm doing this melting snow technique on these later season hunts, that's where also the Nalgene does come in handy because I can pack that thing full of snow and then take a hot cup of water that I put on the Sikka titanium stove, dump it into here, and then shake it up and actually get water. So that's another benefit, I guess you would say. If you're saying, oh, Brady, why do you carry such a heavy water bottle? Well, late season, it is what it is. Just got to carry the tools you need to do. So we're getting long-winded. That's that. Also have a Platypus. Can't actually remember the exact name, but Platypus, little water filter as well. So sorry, can't remember the name. Blanking, a lot of gear to go through. So that's water, 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 backup water, stove, Jetboil flash. Really like this system. It's really lightweight. And actually seems like it boils really quickly. I have no real way to judge that besides for it just seems like I don't really go through a lot of fuel. And I always use these little, whatever they're, 110, 104, 100 gram, over there, fuel canisters. This is Jetboil brand, pick them up. I don't care what the brand is, just pick one up, and I always use these little ones. These little ones will actually get me by a full 8-day hunt. Like when I'm only boiling maybe in the morning for some coffee, or in the evening for the freeze-dried meal, and they'll get by. You don't really need a bunch of those, but do have some backups of the truck in case you go back down and need to go back up, then you're gonna wanna switch it out, but they will last a while. So Jetboil flash, great little option, super lightweight, and everything is contained inside it, which I really like, and it just saves some extra space in the backpack. Spoon, just a little Sea to Summit titanium long spork. I really like the long version. Dig down in some of those freeze-dried meals without getting your hands all full of the food you want to eat. I don't really want to be licking my hands when I'm in the backcountry because my hands are going to be gross by day 3. Because as everyone knows, it's just, you just get nasty while you're out there. So, long one, way to go. Definitely get the long instead of the short. Sure, it's going to save you a little bit, but again, convenience. I'm ultra lightweight until it comes to some things when I could save a little bit more, but it's got to be convenient. Headlamps. Everyone knows when you're hunting you need backup headlamps. If you don't know that, there's your little tip right there, because there'll be times when your headlamp for whatever reason will die. You think you had it charged. You might forget a little charge brick. You might forget to charge it up before you leave. Get out there, it dies. And then what are you going to do? Use your cell phone the rest of the time? That's probably not going to be that efficient or best use of your time, so carry 2. So I have a Peaks Backcountry Duo as my main headlamp. This headlamp is absolutely phenomenal. Super freaking bright. I love how bright the red light is on this too, so I'm going in trying to make sure those big old bucks aren't going to see me crawling up that ridge before dark or before daylight. Also, it's really nice too that it does charge with one of these charge back or a solar panel. You'll see I don't have a single battery on here, my kit, except for, I guess my Kestrel does have a battery on it, but I try to get rid of all batteries because I want things that are rechargeable. That way when I get back, I can juice them back up or use a solar panel and keep them going. So 2 headlamps. This is the Petzl Reactic Plus. This, I don't know why this headlamp hasn't broken on me yet. Well, it beat the crap out of it. It's still kicking, still bright, still holds a charge, still goes. And let's keep it as my backup now. So 2 headlamps. I always carry it. You never know when your friend's headlamp might die as well. So just make sure you're being safe out there when you're in the mountains, especially in G-Bear country. And speaking of safety, Inreach Mini, not much else to say, but it's kind of nice to have to communicate back home, let everyone know you're safe, or deal with some work-related stuff when you're out in the mountains. And it's just sometimes nice to text them your friends on the device and ask them how their hunting's going in a different state, different area, because sometimes it gets a little boring out there at night when there's nothing to do and everything gets dark early. So I just always carry this no matter where I am. Usually around the hunting season, I start activating it. And then once I know I have a couple hunts planned, I will just do the big unlimited plan. That way I can just message as many people as I want, check in at work, and then do a bunch of weather updates without getting a bunch of extra charges for the rest of the hunting season. So love it. I haven't seen any reason to switch, so I'm going to keep using it. I already mentioned charge back a bit ago, but this is just the Poseidon Dark Energy. This is the old version of this charge back. Still use it, still love it, indestructible. Like, it's pretty scarred up, still holds a charge, still gives me a bunch of recharges as well. And at the same time, what's really difficult sometimes with these late season hunts, there's not a lot of sun, but I will try to, like I said, I need to charge some of my stuff. I'm running maps constantly. I have the Inreach, I have headlamps. So that's why it comes in handy to pack a solar panel. So even though solar panel is going to add some weight, it's going to allow me to keep things charged. If I can keep things charged, I can keep hunting effectively every single day. So this is just the Anchor. It's a 3-panel solar panel. Really like it just because it's compact, easy to use, and charges things really fast being a 3-panel. So I've used some other brands before, broken some, but this is one that seems to last and seems to work really well. Going through them really fast here. Saw. So again, late season hunt, I need to cut some wood for my stove. And skull capping, as you can see here, this recently skull capped a buck from last year. Haven't cleaned it yet. Probably should do that. But it's just the Silky F180 saw. It's lightweight, which is always a plus. Super sharp. Skull cap deer with it, and you can cut a bunch of firewood with it. Great thing to have. Toilet paper. Just for people to reference, I do weigh out all my toilet paper, and you roughly need 1 ounce of toilet paper for a full week of hunting. I just know what I need, and that's what I use. So I don't bring a big giant roll. The only time I will bring more toilet paper is maybe on some late season hunt where I know it's going to snow every single day and be really nasty, and then I'll use some of that toilet paper as fire starter as well. But just don't try to use too much toilet paper for your fire starter. They're not going to have any toilet paper. And as always, toilet paper is a superior option to wet wipes. This is your public service announcement that wet wipes are invaluable when you're hunting. They don't burn. They're not meant to be used. Don't pamper your bun. Use toilet papers instead of wet wipes. So can't wait for the comments on that one. But I don't believe in wet wipes. All righty. Yeah, let's talk about this. So as you can see here, I have a coyote hauler on here. I am hunting some states that do have an open season for wolves. I do have wolf tags in my pocket. And because I have said wolf tags in my pocket, I want a chance to kill wolves, so I have some wolves howling, or I want to try to locate some wolves after I've killed some deer. Might as well just bust this out and give her heck, because, wolves are definitely need to be managed just like any other wildlife, so I'd really like to take a wolf someday. So if I hear them, I'm definitely going to try to call at them. Not sure if it's going to work, but at least I have a tool to try to use on that hunt. Game bags. Usually carry 4 game bags. These are just the Argali game bags. Really lightweight, durable. Love how they have some reflectiveness on them so I actually can see them when I'm hanging them up. Yeah, I love that they're reusable too. Use these on the bear hunt, beat the crap out of them hiking out, toss them on the ground a bunch, no holes in them. So I'm going to use these on my deer hunt coming up this fall. And always make sure you have enough game bags as well with you, because You need to make sure you keep that meat clean. That's why I have some extra ones in my truck. If I'm going to, go back in, or if a friend kills some deer or whatever it is, make sure you have lots of extra game bags on you. Never know when you need them. Trekking poles. These are the Peaks Backcountry Elite trekking poles. Trekking poles, if you don't know, are four-wheel drive for your body. Great thing to have, especially packing out a buck, going downhill, going uphill. Some days I just might carry around one while I'm hunting, but coming out with the heavy load, when you have all your gear in your backpack, giant buck, cape, all the meat, it's going to suck, and having trekking poles is a way to save your body. I don't care how young you are, how old you are, you should have trekking poles, because I don't want to get hurt and not be able to go on a next hunt. I don't care if that hunt's in 2 months or the next year. You have some nasty injury on a hunt because you're carrying too much weight, even if you train hard, whatever it might be, you're going to wish you took some extra time packing out an animal so you don't get hurt and can't go and do what you love anymore. So, love trekking poles. These ones are phenomenal. Beat the piss out of them. Just like I think I mentioned that same thing before on some other gear, and they just hold up. Love them. Glassing pad. Glassing pad has a lot of different uses when I'm out hunting. Obviously, glassing doubles as a little doormat in front of my camp when I'm taking off my boots in the evening. I can use the orange on the backside of my backpack when I'm packing out an animal. Maybe I have a rack on my back. I don't want to get shot by another hunter. Things can happen. So add an extra piece of orange on your back is really nice. Maybe you can signal someone when you are making a stalk on an animal. A lot of different use cases, blocking wind when you're cooking, and also using it on the backside of your rifle if you didn't have a little rear support like I do, and then you can use that to shoot from. So a lot of different uses for glassing pad. Really like this one from Stealthy Hunter. You did a great job designing it. Good old Ryan Lampers, smart guy, and I will support him, good friend. So I like this glassing pad a lot. Should have had this with water earlier, but this is the MSR Drome Light 6 liter. This is the OG bag. If you can find these things are awesome. Whether it's a new one, the old one, I really like the old ones. They feel a little durable than some of the newer ones, but I've had this forever. As you can see, it's really beat up. Just really nice to have way to store extra water, and that's like I said, these late season hunts, sometimes where I hunt, there's not a lot of water at all. Sometimes the only water I can get is from water or seeps down the mountain, and then I will use this to then carry a ton of water back up to camp. And like I said too, if I need to melt snow, I'll start melting snow, and if I feel up to it one night, I'll just try to melt as much snow to fill this up. That way, the rest of the time I can enjoy myself in the evening and go to bed or do whatever, just to get extra rest and not have to worry about staying up late and getting in water. So MSR Drome Light is that guy. We'll jump into my little kill kit. Call it a kill kit, but there's a lot of extra stuff in there as well. Pyro putty, fire starter. We have some little S-bit fire cubes here. Again, more fire starter. I always keep this stuff in my kill kit because even though my stove, when I'm hunting, is back at camp, I want to have this stuff with me while I'm hunting as well. Safety and just starting a fire if I'm warm, or like I said earlier, if I can't make it back to camp and I need to start a fire, this is going to be an easy way to start a fire on some of these late season hunts that could get a little hairy based on weather conditions. So always carry different means of fire starter, or use, little Vaseline soaked cotton balls. Just different extra fire starting capabilities. What do I got in here? Kill kit. Probably should definitely look into replenishing my kill kit or my first aid kit. Figure out what I need, what I don't need in here, because I haven't really looked at this in a lot of years. And so I probably need to add some things to it and actually make this more of a first aid kit rather than just a very basic minimalist first aid kit. But again, it works for me, but I'd rather be prepared as well in the mountains. So every year I say I need to look at that and I always forget, but that's why I do this gear list. I'm going to finally remember to add some things to that. This is just Z-Pack slickline cord. This is for hanging food, keep them away from the grizzly bears, and also works for any sort of guy lines when you repair guy lines, or paracord if I need to tie something up. Really nice about this is it's really slick, so actually when I throw it up and over tree branches, it doesn't actually get caught, and it's still really lightweight, but just nice to have to keep the food off the ground from the bears. Goat knives, Ibex Mini. Was able to test this out this last spring on my bear hunt. Absolutely loved it. What I like about it is just it's lightweight. Lightweight, and it holds a replaceable blade, and it's sharp. Feels good in the hand. It's not too lightweight that you feel like you're going to break it. but it's a really good knife and has an orange sheath, which makes it so you're not going to lose it. So just a replaceable blade knife that's really light and saving weight in my gear kit. So I'm all for that. And then in here too, I usually carry an assortment of blades, usually 60A blades, 5 to whatever it may be. Carry a lot of blades. Never know when you need to sharpen a blade, you break a blade, have some extras. And also have a backup knife too. So this is the Goat Knives Nitro Tur, I do believe. And I just like it because it's a fixed blade. I can kind of wear it on my neck, pull it out, do some camp stuff with it, or if I need to cut a deer with it, it'll work as well. So I like to have backup knives when possible. And if you haven't checked out Goat Knives yet, they have a huge selection of awesome knives that I didn't mention earlier, but they also have the little 1/4-inch bit thing in the back here. So you can basically take a random little 1/4-inch drives for different sizes, maybe a tripod leg or maybe something on your rifle scope or your bow or whatever, and stick that in there and then use that as like a multi-tool. So it's a really cool feature to have on the back of it. So it basically doubles as a multi-tool and a knife at the same time. Little assortment here of some pills. These are just Advil and then salt pills. That's pretty much all I take, Advil, salt pills. Take them as needed or give them to your friend or whatever else when they are not feeling so hot. But it's nice to have whatever sort of pills, medication you have, make sure you grab it ahead of time and don't forget it. Toothbrush, little ultra mini toothbrush here from Z-Packs. Do not have the toothpaste in here right now, I just noticed, but have a little thing of toothpaste as well. And then I always carry 2 lighters. And again, reason I carry 2 lighters, I always try to keep both of these, either one in my camp and then one on me at all times. That way, again, run in a situation where I need to start a fire when I'm out hunting, I can do that. Don't leave both your lighters at camp. That's a bad idea. That's everything in there. Jump over here. This one's a little more simple. In this little pocket here, I just have an iPhone charge cord, optics blower. I think this is really essential to carry, even they might wonder why. I just don't like to touch my optics. Since I spend money on my optics, I want to keep care of them, so I will clean off my optics when the time arrives, if they get dust, snow, rain, whatever on it. Zeiss lens wipes, again, just keep my optics clean. Little lens pen, and then a micro USB cord for charging my Inreach and some of my headlamps. So it's nice too to have all this stuff in certain bags that you know what they mean and what they are. That way when you need something, you know where to grab in your backpack. And that's why if you are someone who, if you're new to backpack hunting or new to, I don't know, new to backpack hunting, you could also label said bags too, what they are on the outside so you know what might be in it. Or just use a clear Ziploc gallon bag so you actually can see all the items inside there. Moving over here, just have a Outdoor Research 15, I think it's a 15 liter dry sack just for hanging food, keep them away from the bears. Nothing fancy about it besides that it's, again, like that it saves me some weight because it's really lightweight. I'm not even sure how to talk about this one. This is from Seek Outside, it's a tarp. I asked them if they could make me something special and they made me something special. And I can't wait to try it out. We'll leave it at that. It's a really sweet piece of gear that they made custom for me, and really excited to try to use it. So it's a tarp, by the way. But yeah, won't know the details of it. But it's really cool. So that's basically all this miscellaneous gear. One more item that I forgot to do in the rifle area is hearing protection. So these things are freaking gross. Yeah, don't look at those. Those are pretty gross. But yeah, I've had these for a while. Obviously, they break all the time, so I always just tape them up when I'm in the backcountry. And there's some electrical tape somewhere. I think it was in this guy that I forgot to talk about too. But ear protection, I always have it. And in some bad situation where I've taken shots at animals, and even had this on my neck and didn't put it on. So if you're going to use it, or bring it out there, make sure you use it, because don't be like me and make your hearing go bad. Not good. Backpack time. So backpack of choice for me for the longest time. I've just loved everything about Stone Glacier backpack. A lot of backpacks out there, a lot of great companies out there, know a lot of friends who use different things. But to me, Stone Glacier has always just been a backpack that I know how to use it, know everything about it. And yes, I have used it so that it's a reason why I know everything about it, but it's like the simplistic design of a Stone Glacier backpack. It doesn't have a lot of pockets, doesn't have accessories, doesn't have a lot of stupid little zipper things with areas to store your gear. It's just what you need and doesn't have anything you don't need. So this is the Stone Glacier Sky Guide 7900. Yes, it's a giant backpack. But the nice part is if you ever need to take the bag off and put a different bag on there, you can do that. But for me, I pretty much use this bag all the time. It's great on these later season hunts because you need a little bit of bigger bag because you see all the gear I have. A lot of that gear is just for cold weather, survival situations, and I carry a big optic. And so it's nice to have a big bag because then once I have a big bag, when I'm trying to pack out an animal, then I can use that load shelf in the middle and keep all my gear on the outside because I will try to debone a deer and carry it all at once. And it sucks. And like I said, I was trying to do that safety thing too, like I mentioned before, about not trying to hurt yourself. But again, I don't like making 2 trips. So this bag does it all for me. It's on the X-Curve frame. It's the same frame I've had on multiple different bag combinations. Still running really, really strong. Great frame system, really works well for me. I do have, I have both frames, but I'd really like the X-Curve frame a lot and don't really have a lot of accessories on here. I am actually going to be removing the rifle holder. I found I've never really used that. And every time when I put my rifle on the side, I just put it on the side pocket. Sticks the rifle up a little bit taller, but then I feel like too, every time I sit down, I'm kind of banging on my stock. And sometimes too with the rifle I use, it just doesn't fit as well in here with one of the adjustable stocks on the back. So probably just gonna remove that because it's not needed. And again, there's extra weight I don't need on my hunt. And then, yeah, pretty much just have a pocket on the right side here. Usually keep little snacks and whatnot in there. Actually feel like there's something stupid in there right now. Probably should empty this out. Oh yeah, look at that. Got an old F-bomb and a Cliff Bar. Yeah. Kind of do some cleaning before I go hunting. And then just a Stone Glacier pack rain cover. So again, it's one of those pieces of gear that's very essential. It does actually serve multiple purposes. Besides for just keeping your backpack dry when it's raining and snowing, I actually used this a couple hunts to stretch it all out and collected snow in it. And then I had water. And I used it to dump a bunch of snow in it at one point too the next day and then carry a bunch of snow over to my camp so I could just melt it and leave it sit there all day and let the snow melt. But super great backpack. Again, just love it. I can pack out everything I need in it, store all my gear in there, super comfortable. Can't say enough good things about Stone Glacier backpacks. Obviously it's a little large. So if you guys don't need a giant backpack like this, there is a lot of other options. And we do sell a lot of options at GOHUNT. And at the end of the day, just use what is most comfortable to you. Obviously I use this. You might like something totally different and that's fine. But serves me well and really like how this backpack's built and it's hauled off a ton of animals. So I'm gonna continue to use it. So that is all the gear I'll be taking on my 2022 late season rifle mule deer hunts. So again, not saying by any means use this gear. This is just what I use, what I trust, what's worked well for me for multiple years. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I know what works, know what doesn't work. And you might use other gear that works for you that just doesn't work for me. So use whatever you want. Obviously gear is very expensive, so use whatever your budget allows. Upgrade gear slowly, start working on it. But again, my whole goal with the gear list is just to help people out. That's all I honestly care about, is showcasing different ways to use gear that will work well for your hunts or your future hunts, or how to plan, and just maybe think outside the box on different ways to use gear that serve multiple purposes. So try my best to run through everything as slow as I could, get some explanations on why I use the things I do. I also tried not to use the word running all the time. So you guys who like to comment that I say I run this, I run that, I run that. Really tried my best. I'm not perfect. And when you go through a gear list like this, you just start saying random things because you do run items a lot. There's that run. Just do that for you guys. Yeah, but this is what I carry. Obviously, early season hunt might be a little different, but it works for me. So this is just all the gear. Food obviously is not included in this. I think I said it last year I was going to do a food gear list, and I don't believe I did. So I think I owe you guys a food gear list, and I should probably do that because food's really important, and I really geek out on food as well. because food is fuel, not fun. So remember that. And if you guys have any questions, definitely drop in the comments below. Why I use what I use, rifle setup, optics, that sort of thing. I am an open book, and if you guys hate what I use, tell me. I'm here just to help you guys out and want you guys to have an awesome season. Mule deer hunting, the rut is coming up. No better time of year. It's not elk season anymore, guys. It's mule deer season. So best of luck to all you guys.